Welcome to the SELMA tutorial. I'm your host David, and today we're talking about the online admissions in SELMA as well as the WordPress plugin. To start, let's check out some prerequisites. The first thing you want to check is under Students in Enrollment Form that you have the Form Submissions page. This means a SELMA consultant has set up the online enrollment form for you and has at least added one form to your system. The next thing you have to do is to decide which program you actually want to offer for online enrollment. For that, I'm going to find your example program here. I'm going to click on it, go on to edit mode. And on our main page, you see this option enrollment form. And this option here shows you all the enrollment forms that are available that you can use for your students to enroll online. In this situation, I choose two different forms. You may have one or many forms that you can choose from. I'm going to update the program, and this means that this program here, Marine Science Diving, is now available for online enrollment. If you have just the enrollment form, it will show up in a drop-down list, and if you have the WordPress plugin, it will now show up on your website as an available program to enroll into. Another prerequisite is that the programs you are enabled for online enrollment, they also need to have an active intake. So I'm just going to search my program here, and I can see I do have an open intake in February 22 that I want to allow for online enrollment. If you have the WordPress plugin, you can now check and see if your program has actually showed up on your website. The WordPress plugin is completely customizable by your web developer. So if you don't like the appearance, or if you want to change the appearance or set it up in a way that it fits into your look and feel of your website, your web developer and web designer will be able to do so. I can see here that the Marine Science Diving program has come through on my website, and we also have some filters like a month selector, for example, where your students can conveniently find the right intake they want to enroll into. I'm going to choose my February intake here, this one in Palmerston North. The next thing a student is going to do is they're just going to click on the intake and program they want to enroll into. With the WordPress plugin, if a student has clicked the Enroll Now button, they will be straight forwarded to this enrollment form where they can confirm what they've just selected in terms of their intake and program. If you don't have the WordPress plugin, this page will basically show a intake and program selection for the students, and you can just provide them access to the form by sending them the link. So here we go. I'm going to start my application. I'm going to select the name and surname I want to type in. You can see that these fields like the phone number and email addresses, these fields are validated, so it doesn't actually allow you to type in phone numbers or email addresses that are invalid. Here we go. Same with the date of birth. The enrollment form will ultimately check if the student has reached at least the 16th year of life, and we choose a gender. With the SELMA enrollment form, you will be able to upload a photo as well, so the students can take a photo of themselves during the enrollment process. This, by the way, also works well on a mobile device. The address can be filled in and potentially auto-populated depending on your student's browser setup. There's a whole lot of questions that will bring conditional further questions. So for example, if you live with the effects of significant injury, it will basically ask you if you access disability services, and you can write down further instructions. If not, these questions will basically disappear and you don't have to answer them. You can add emergency contacts, and the same is true with things like the citizenship selection, etc. You can define whether this should automatically, for example, set your New Zealand residency visa to citizen. If you select Maori as your ethnicity. Further questions will pop up to ask you about your EV affiliation, and of course there's all the compulsory fields that are relevant, for example for the SDR. If it's your first enrollment, there will be no further questions. If it's not your first enrollment, the system asks you when your first tertiary enrollment was. And I go next. This next one is quite important. In the SELMA online enrollment form, you will be able to upload documents. For example, I want to upload my identity document, and I'm going to say I'm going to upload a copy of it. I'm just going to choose my passport here. However, the student can also take a picture of a passport or a birth certificate from their phone straight away whilst enrolling. There is options of custom fields, so if you want to ask further questions that are specifically relevant to your provider, we will have a option here. You can choose how they heard about this. There's a quick challenge, a math challenge to make sure that you're not dealing with a robot. They can sign the form online and they can go ahead and submit. They might pay online as well, so the SELMA enrollment form has a fully functional payment gateway if you wish to, but you can also run the form basically without any payment. So this program is for free. We'll submit this, and in our situation no payment gateway comes up. The student has now the option of downloading a PDF summary of their enrollment online. Back in SELMA, let's have a look at how this enrollment came through. So I'm going to go to Students, Online Enrollment Form and Form Submissions. And you can see on the first page we have Kirsty here now being enrolled, and she came through the online enrollment form. In this situation, the form is set up to create a student. However, the form isn't set up to automatically enroll. If you wish, the online enrollment form can directly create the enrollment of a student, or it could just create an inquiry at this stage. But we can see the program and intake Kirsty is interested in, and we can click on it as well if we want to jump to the intake. Worth here to mention that there is also some submissions with an error. So here we go, we have a duplicate error, and I'm going to click on this. So we see that someone has actually submitted a online enrollment, but the system has found that the student already exists based on first name, surname and date of birth. In this situation, you have two options. You can either merge the records together, or you can delete the submission altogether, because you may find out that they've gone through the traditional enrollment process as well at the same time, and someone else has already processed it in the system. I'm going to go back to Kirsty now, and let's have a look at how the student record was actually created in SELMA. I can just click on her student ID, and here we go, I'm on her account. If she would have uploaded a picture, it would appear here. We can see that her status is inquiry, because that's the way the enrollment form is set up into. The contact details have come across as in her phone number, email and address she created. The New Zealand compliance fields are filled in with the information selected. And by the way, on the online enrollment form, you can make all these fields mandatory if you want. The event log has created a note saying that she actually came through the online enrollment form. The document section contains her signature, as well as the identity document of passport that she has submitted. And the stakeholder actually shows an emergency contact. Here we go. This is how it works when enrolling a student online through the SELMA online admissions and WordPress plugin. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Please reach out to support@selma.co.nz as usual if you have any further questions.